Welcome to the New Age Sales Champions podcast hosted by Srinivasan and Pascal. We help coaches and sales professionals to close more sales by handling objections like a champion using New Age selling techniques. In today's episode, you are going to learn the differences between the old age selling methods and the new age selling methods. By the end of this episode, you will know why the old age selling methods do not work anymore and why you should change over to the new age selling methods if you want to see a massive increase in your sales conversions. We will talk about this topic in four sections. One is what's the old age method, why it doesn't work, and what is the new age method, and why the new age method works. So, Pascal, people talk about the old age method and why it is not working. What exactly is this old age method we are referring to?
Yeah, so the old age method is, it was used mostly by sales gurus in like 50s, 60s and leading up to the 2000s. And the key concepts of it is like focusing on the presentation more, like pitching the features and benefits of your product. Saying like, my product is the best, we're the number one in this, right? There's some concepts that you might be familiar with if you have heard about if you have learned from the old sales gurus. For example, the ABC of closing, always be closing. For example, what do we mean by this if you're not familiar with it? Is like there's different kind of closes. For example, the option close, which would be something like, so do you have, what works best for you tomorrow 2 p.m. or Thursday 3 p.m., right? Giving them two options and they decide which one is the best for them. Another one is
expecting the prospect to choose one. Yeah.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Another one is like the demonstrative close, where you tell the prospect you can try, for example, the lawnmower out and see if it works for you, and for a week, and I'll come back and ask you how it
If
works.
if it works, you can keep it.
Yeah, exactly.
So the salesperson considers it sold.
Right, that's it. And yeah, so like if you say, oh, I don't have the budget for this, and they will show you different options, more cheap options that would actually, work better for you. Kind of, moving around the objection, just trying to close you, essentially, right? Anything else to add to the ABC of closing? Okay, so yeah, the next key concept is like the pushy and salesy, being pushy, salesy, and coming across as aggressive salespeople. For example, when you go to a car dealership, that's a classic example, right? The car salesman who is trying to push you into buying, I don't know, the biggest, most expensive car without even asking you what you need in the first place. Let's just say, for example, your wife is pregnant and you need a family car, but the salesperson doesn't really care about that. He just wants to make the highest commission for himself, so he starts selling you on this new sports car that has that many horsepowers and V8 engine and stuff like that, right? Pitching features and benefits again, without even going into what you need in the first place.
Yeah, the salesman's only agenda is his own agenda.
Yeah.
Somehow sell more cars without even
Right.
understanding what actually the customer wants.
Yep.
Okay, they start using manipulative, dirty sales tricks that feel bad for you and your prospect. For example, they start assuming the sale. At the end of the presentation, they start to fill out an order form, and they
Mm.
start asking, who is this for, and in whose name you're going to take. So what is your tax details? Oh, then the prospect realizes that he's trying to sell. Suddenly
Yeah.
their defense mechanism raises.
Yeah.
So probably if you have been in a car sales showroom, you've probably been presented with three or four options, and next they will ask, which option do you want to sign up? No, just making you agree to something so they can close things fast.
Yeah.
Okay, it is more of like the salesperson trying to talk most of the time, thinking
Mm.
that they are impressing the customer
Yeah.
rather than trying to find out what they really need. And
Yeah.
and
Like,
coming to objection. So what about objection? Does the prospect come out with a lot of objections in the old age method?
yeah, definitely. Like, just so, like you were saying, assuming the sale. So for you as a prospect, the salesperson is assuming that you want to buy this, but you have never expressed that you want to buy this. So you're gonna come up with stuff like, I don't have the money. I have to talk to my wife first. I have to think it over. Stuff like this. It happens naturally that you know, your defense mechanism raises, and you're like, whoa, 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 you. I didn't even tell you that I want this, right? And a
And
lot
and
of
Pascal, most of the time it is not real objections. It's just smoke
yeah,
screens. They just want to get away from the salesperson, because they don't want
exactly.
to be sold. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, we'll get to that in a second with the new age selling method. So that's just because they feel that you're pushy. They the salesperson push you into buying something that you don't want in the first place or need in the first place, and that's why it's triggering the resistance. Oh, whoa, 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 I didn't say I want to buy this, right? So another thing that is a huge one in the old age selling method is like saying sales is a numbers game. So what are your thoughts on that, Srini?
Yeah, because of the method of selling, where the salesperson keeps pitching the customer, and the customer feels really pushy, and the salesperson always hoping that something what he says about the features and benefits will strike a chord with the customer, and he will say
Mm.
yes.
Yeah.
So it does work sometimes. Say probably it may work 1 in 5, 1 in 10, and the salesperson is happy he has made a sale. So he knows, okay, 10% I have talked to, one has made a sale, so I will talk to 20%, I will get second sale. So he books more and more calls, he brings more people into the pipeline, and then it becomes a numbers game.
Yeah.
So what is the result of this is the salesperson gets totally burnt out trying to handle the objections which the prospect throws. And the salesperson works a lot. He is hard working,
Yeah.
but he's not able to make so many sales.
Nice.
Yeah, that is the bad side of the old age selling method. It's not
Mm.
good for the salesperson also.
Yeah.
But okay, having understood what actually is the old age selling method, why it does not work in this modern age? What do you feel? How do you feel it doesn't work?
Well, like, first of all, we have now have something called the internet, where people can just go online, type in Google, and find everything about you, your company, your products, even like reviews of other customers or prospects talking about your company or your products. So they are more smart, right? They are better informed about you. They're better informed about your products, the features, the benefits. They already know all this, what the old age selling method was just presenting again, right? And what they
Yeah,
do
yeah. The
is,
only connection,
go ahead.
yeah, the only way of the customer knowing about the product is through the salesperson.
Hmm.
So that is why it was probably more successful in the olden days. And
Yeah,
because of what you said, because of the internet and the customer being more informed, so they know about the product features, even the prices and what the competition is selling the price at.
yeah,
So they don't need you to come and talk about the benefits and products and features.
right. Yeah, and like
So
that's just as an example. What do you do when you want to buy, I don't know, something? It doesn't matter, like for example, a computer or a laptop. What do? You go online, you look for, I don't know, maybe the best laptop for whatever purpose you're using it for, and then you compare all the different laptops to each other, right? Which one is the best? Which one has the
yeah,
most,
yeah,
like, I don't know, it's the fastest, the more yeah, like just all the features, benefits. You compare maybe all the different brands to each other, and you will see which one is the best for me. And you know that's just way easier today because of the internet than it was previously in pre-internet days. So they don't really, like you just mentioned, they don't really go and need you to talk about all these benefits and features because they know already. So yeah, um,
yeah,
which leads us to the next point. When you use the old school techniques of, the pushy, salesy, and manipulative way, they can spot it when you use those mind tricks on them, which makes them feel like you're not genuine and you're not honest, which is just, you're losing the trust. They're losing the
yeah,
trust. And which is never a good thing, because people only buy from you if they feel like they can trust you, trust that your product can solve their problems. So what what do you feel like is what people want, Sri, or rather don't
yeah.
want?
People don't want to be actually sold.
Hmm.
They want to make their own buying decisions. Like whenever you step into a showroom, you want to buy something, suddenly a salesperson pops up from nowhere and asks you, how can I help you? See, the customer does not really know what he wants. He wants to just go around, see what he likes. He has some vague idea in his mind.
Hmm.
So, the old school tactics make you come across as aggressive because they don't want the salesperson to come and ask, even how can I help you,
Yeah,
they may feel little embarrassed, and such type of approaches raise the defensive mechanism, inside the buyer's mind.
yeah. Just like,
So actually, yeah,
just think about what is your natural reaction when somebody's asking you, how can I help you? Most of the time you're just saying, oh, I'm just looking, right? That's what I'm doing, at least. I don't know about
yeah,
you.
yeah. Most people just say, I'm looking, I don't know, I just came for window shopping or some things like that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Right.
So we have seen why the old age method does not work anymore in the modern age. Now, coming to the new age selling method, so we are talking the new. You have to adopt the new age selling method if you want to really make those high sales conversions.
Mhm.
What is all this new age selling method about? What are the tactics that we should use or is used in the new age method?
Yeah, so we found out that the old age selling method, people just push you into buying something. But what people actually want in, the new age customer prospects, they want their problems to be solved with your product or service, whatever you're offering. And to add to that, only offer them your solution if you can actually solve their problems, which should be common sense. I just want to make it clear again. So what you really want to do is like you need to find out what are their problems they are experiencing right now. And what you do is like you solve it with your product or service. You tie their problems and the solution to their problems is your product or service. And don't just try and slam your product down their throat, just like in the old school methods they were teaching. So how would the conversation, like how does this conversation look like? How is the difference, really?
Yeah, people feel comfortable when you have a two-way conversation, like trying to listen to the prospect
Hmm.
and trying to understand what they are actually saying, not only what they are saying, what they are meaning when they say something.
Hmm.
So it is all about discovering their problems and how those problems are affecting them or impacting them. You know, so it should look like more of a friendly conversation. Like when a friend comes to you with his problems,
Right.
you try to listen to him and then ask him more about it. What are the actual, impact it is having on him, and how you can really help him out. So the same way, the sales conversation also should go like a two-way conversation, like you know chatting with a friend.
Yeah.
So probably you should be talking less and asking more about your prospect situation. And you should listen and understand them. So the prospects want to feel understood. So when you understand them, the trust and understanding increases. So
Right.
when the trust increases, they automatically start to open out more to you, and they tell more about their situation, which gives you a chance to see what the real problem is and see whether your product or solution can actually solve that problem.
Right.
Like you know again, coming to the friend's example, when you tell something to a friend and they don't get what you mean because they are not listening, then you don't feel understood. But when another friend repeats back what you said and asks more questions about what you said and how you feel understood and trust him more. So you feel that he is a real friend of yours.
Yeah.
So it makes them feel like you're a real person who genuinely cares for them,
Right.
right? So that is the kind of trust you should start building with your prospects or customers,
Yeah.
so that they open out and talk more to you. So that
Yes.
is what the customers expect from you, right? Yeah.
Yeah. It's like
And
this to give another example with that. Like sometimes when you were talking to a friend and another like this friend, you're saying one or two sentences about your problem, and the friend chimes in and directly tells you an advice. Y- and
Yeah.
that's like, you didn't really understand my problem in the first place, like, and you couldn't really elaborate on exactly what the problem is. So this person just went right in and told about his advice to the situation without really understanding it, and you don't feel like you want to tell more about your problem now, right? Which is why it's so important to dig deep into what they're saying and really try and understand what they're going through, because then
Yeah,
you offer
that's
the, yeah,
that's what happens when you try to propose a solution without understanding. So
yeah,
your solution may not really solve the problem, and your prospect will wonder, yeah, this is not going to solve my problem. Why is he?
yeah,
And then that is where you lose the trust.
yeah,
And then the customer starts feeling that you're pushy and
right.
salesy, and he will try to move away from you, and at that point you lost the sale.
Yeah, yeah, which
And yeah,
go ahead.
yeah, and when you are on a call, you have to be careful what kind of words you use, because some words can trigger the defense mechanism. Pascal, can you tell more about what kind of words actually raise this defensive mechanism?
Yeah, so an example of that would be, I can show you how my product can help you solve your problem. What does that tell you? How does that make you feel as a prospect? It's like focusing on me, right? The salesperson, on my product. It can help you, right? It should be that, like, this is making the prospect feel like you just want to sell them something rather than really understanding them. So again, like, this is what we said, the point earlier. It can also happen when you try and show them a solution before even really understanding their problem. So, like, there's a lot of words that you don't want to use in your sales conversation that trigger this defense mechanism. Um, just like I said, I can show you how our product can solve this. I can show you, would you like, basically everything that's, most of it around yourself or your product, because they don't really care too much about your product. They only care about, can you solve their problem? Anything you
Yeah,
want to add to that?
yeah. See, it's all boils down to what the customer needs.
Mm,
And if you're not able to identify what their needs are, then there
yeah,
is no point in going ahead with the sales call.
yeah,
So, and if you feel that you're not able to solve the customer's problem, then you have failed to understand what he actually needs.
mm,
So the new age sales method is all about finding out what exactly the customer wants,
yeah,
not just making a sales presentation of products and benefits.
mm,
See, there may be only a particular feature or of your product which will actually solve his problems. So he's not interested in knowing about all the features and
yeah,
benefits of your product. He is only interested in those one or two things which will actually solve his current teething problem.
yeah,
And this new method of selling exactly allows you to identify that problem by your skillful questioning.
mm,
Okay. And the second thing is you always try to, find out the gap between where the customer is currently and where he actually wants to go. When
what
the
is the gap
gap
exactly?
is, yeah, this is what his current state is, what are his pains, what is troubling him today, and what problem he wants to actually solve.
Mm,
And by solving that, where he wants to go, what is his future state, where he wants to be, what benefits he wants to achieve, what kind of life he wants to, enjoy. So
Yeah.
if you can increase this gap as much as possible, which the new selling method, the way of questioning your prospect helps you to increase this gap.
Hmm.
Okay. We have also discussed this in our first episode, in
Yeah.
our introduction episode. So the main idea is you use the technique of gap selling, which increases the gap between his current state, problem state, and the future state, that is the solution what he wants, which we'll be discussing more and more in our later episodes.
Right.
So, so
Yeah.
when you use the new method, of skillful questioning, and you're able to see through what the problems are. So at the end of your presentation, you actually end up with very little or no objections at all.
Hmm.
And every salesperson, every coach wants to land up in the situation where at the end of presentation, he doesn't want to handle any objections.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Easiest sales.
Yeah, easy sales. So having said that, having understood, overview of the new age selling method, so why this works in the modern age? What are your thoughts on this, Pascal?
Now we kind of went into this a bit already. So the thing is, like, just like we said, people don't want to be sold. They want to be genuinely cared about. And when you focus on them, when you find out their problems, what they want, and how your product or service can really help them solve the problems they are having, that's where the magic happens, right? Now you are in the state of, like, everybody wants their problem solved. If my car is broken, I want my car to be fixed. So I go and try and find a solution for my problem. So in selling, we're doing the same thing, and this is why it works so well in today's age, because it makes them feel like you really understand them and you can really solve their problem because you found out what their problems really are, and you have evaluated if your product or service can solve their problems, and if so, you present your product as a solution to their problems. If not, that's what we do. If we find that our product or service doesn't solve their problems, we are not pitching them. We don't present our offer. We just tell them that it is not a good fit. We can't help them. And that's it. We're not trying to push them into buying the product if it doesn't help. Right? So essentially, this means they get what they want instead of us trying
Yeah.
to slam something down their throat what they don't need in the first place. Right?
Yeah, right. So we actually get into their emotional state,
Hmm.
and most people make their buying decisions when they are in their emotional state, and later justify it with logic.
Yeah,
So you should use both emotions and logic, probably more of emotional state and less
definitely.
of logic. So because if logic is zero, then only emotions, you can have reversals later. But if there's a combination of emotion and logic with more of emotions, then it gets you into a sale faster.
Hmm.
Okay, so and pitching and presenting is done only when the gap becomes big. You do not do the pitching before that.
Yeah,
And yes, when you pitch there will be a resistance, but you have come to a stage of presentation when you've already built a trust with the prospect.
yeah,
So he doesn't mind pitching because he knows you're going to solve his problem and is eager to see what you have to offer him, that will solve his problems.
Yeah. Also
So
because
then,
you like because you link you solving the problem to what they want their future to look like. Right? They have imagined
yeah,
during the sales process what is my goal, my future state, what we talked about in Gap. Where do I want to be? How does my life look like? And by you solving their problem with your product, it helps them to reach there. So you link the two. So sorry
yeah,
to interrupt. Yeah.
yeah, you're right. When they see that this is the solution they want, and your product can solve that, and it is something which you can provide them,
Hmm.
then they have no objections.
Yeah.
They are ready to purchase your product or service.
Yeah.
I mean, again, it boils down to buying from a person whom they now know very well and they trust because they feel understood.
Exactly.
Because you genuinely wanting to help them and solve their concerns rather than just trying to push your product or trying to aggressively handle their objections.
Yeah.
So this is how the new age selling method can actually help you in having higher conversion rates,
Right.
have massive conversion rates.
One thing to add there, you've probably heard this before. This is like human psychology. We always move away from pain towards pleasure. And
Yeah,
by you presenting your product as a solution to their problems, you help them get away from their pain toward their pleasure. Right? You just which is what they want.
exactly,
Exactly. Right. So yeah,
absolutely, yeah.
anything else you want to add there, Srini, before we wrap this one up?
No, that's it.
All right. So thank you so much for tuning in. We hope that you got value from this episode. If so, let us know in the comments below what was your biggest takeaway from this episode. And please make sure if you got value to smash the subscribe button and also hit the notification bell to see whenever we upload a new episode. So that's it. Thank you for tuning in, and we'll catch you on the next episode. Bye.